Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In this video, we are going to be putting together and painting a couple of gray slaads, or slaads, and a death slaad. But unfortunately, but fortunately, the gray slaad and the death slaad are both gray. It's just that the death slaad has like these extra razors on his wrists. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop these out. We're going to put them on their bases, and then I'm going to prime them and paint them, and you'll get to experience that as we go along. Let me go ahead and open this package, and I'll be right back. All right, now take a look at these two models here. They kind of look a little bit like lizard men or toad men or something, and they got a lot of detail on them. Whoever made these models did a really good job. You can see that this, and I do think that this spiky one is the death slaad. He's got Wolverine claws coming out of his wrist, and this looks like a gray slaad, and they go on 1-inch basis. So if you're using like a 1-inch grid for your dungeons, it's a 1-inch disc, right? So let's go ahead and apply my DAP Rapid Fuse to the base of these models. First, I want to score the bottom of these models just a little bit, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put DAP Rapid Fuse. Now, one of the reasons why I use the DAP Rapid Fuse is it's a super glue that dries in like 1 minute. Right, let's see how I'm going to get this guy on here. Because it looks like it overhangs just a little bit. Yeah. But that's okay. Okay, that's actually a good spot. You hold it for about 15 seconds and it should grip. Yeah, I scratched that one already. Now this death slaad. Okay, it's not sitting exactly smooth. The feet and the base are kind of flexible. It's kind of a soft plastic, but once I texture the base and everything, that's going to disguise any gaps between the base and the model. Okay, so we got these two glued on their base. That's going to dry in a few minutes. Once it's dry, it's already a light gray, and I'm okay with that, but I want it to be a little bit darker. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a flat gray primer. You can see it's a little bit darker than this. This is almost like a light gray. I want it to be a medium gray. Once I've primed it, then we're going to go in and do some washes and some paints. So come back and check that out once these are dry, and once this paint is dry, I'll be back. Hello. Okay, so my gray slaads have dried, and what we're going to do now is we're going to put a dark tone quick shade wash on them, and it's going to bring out all their details and all the little bumps and skin texture and everything. But not only that, I'm going to lighten this a little bit or thin it a little, because I don't want the models to turn black, right? And the dark tone has a tendency to make your models turn black. So I'm going to go with maybe 10 drops each. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoops, I went 11. Okay, so 11, and then I'm going to thin that with about 7. and I'm using thinner medium, what that's going to do is it's not going to break the pigment down. It just thins it out. Basically, it's almost like putting a little bit of white in a black. You know how it turns gray? But you can see right there on camera that that's really not gray. That's really still black. All right, so now we're going to hold it by the base, and we're going to cover the model. And you can see already how the washes will bring out all the details. At the end of the video, I will do a zoom in, as I always do, to let you see what happened to the model. So that was 711, right? That was 7 thinner, 11 dark shade. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, we're going to have to set this off to the side and let this dry. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have enough. Yeah, it brings out the mouth, all the the creases in the hide of this creature, the little warts that are on the figure, the eyes, the horns. It brings out all the little details. The chest muscles. Okay, everything is complete. Whoops. Yeah, everything is completely covered. Let's let that sit for a minute. Okay, that's going to take about 30 minutes to dry because washes have a tendency to take a lot longer to dry. So let's let that dry for about 30 minutes and then we'll be right back. Okay, so now we're back with the Slaad, and you could see the gray and then the wash has been applied. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take a black. The black I use is Folk Art Licorice. Okay, we don't need to use a whole lot. We just put a little drop in there. Now what I'm going to be doing with these Slaads, you can see that like on their back they've got all these spines, and then they have like this one has those Wolverine claws, but they also have like fingernails claws on their hands, and that's all going to be this licorice color. Okay, so you can see okay, I'm going to roll them over. I'm going to do the other side. Just by doing that, that really brings a lot of detail, or it brings a lot of eye-grasping attention to that area. I'm also going to do these, I call them Wolverine claws, but because they come out of his knuckles. The back of his paw, like the back side of your hand. just like Wolverine. And let's do the inside of those suckers. I think this is a Death Slaad. I think the Death Slaad is the one that has those extra claws. And that guy's just a gray Slaad. Okay. Now they have like thumbnails and fingernails. Just like that. Oh, and yeah, sorry, forgot. They're toenails. They're talons. Okay. Yeah, let me set this guy down to dry. I'm going to do the same thing on this guy, and then we'll be right back. Okay, now on these Slaads, I'm going to go ahead and do their teeth and their mouth. In their mouth, I'm going to paint it with a flat red. So let's just go ahead and get a really small drop of red because we're not doing very much in the mouth. Here, let's show you. See how small that drop is? And I'm using a fairly fine tip point brush. It's a 10-0. He's got an open mouth, but you can't see any red there. So I'm not going to touch the gray Slaad. But the Death Slaad, he's got his mouth wide open where you can see his tongue. And that's what I was really worried about. And there you go, you got the mouth. So let me set that off to the side, let that dry just a minute, and then we'll be right back. All right, now before we go on to the teeth, I'm going to use brass on the Death Slaad because he's got some jewelry that I want to make sure gets painted. And I just put a very small bit of brass in there. And if you look on the model, let's get this brush out of the way. If you look on the model, you'll see that his wrists are covered in these, what do you call them, bracers? Okay, that's probably not enough brass. That's probably enough for one bracer. I would guess that this is his way of saying that he's in charge. All right, so we got some bracers on that guy. All right, and he doesn't have them. All right, so I'm going to let those colors dry before we move on to the next. All right, guys, the next step on the Slaads are to do their teeth, and really there's only a few teeth to do. It's kind of like a row of teeth. I'm going to use my 10-0 brush, and I'm using khaki webbing. I'm not using bleached bone or white because those are way too bright, especially for a dark creature like this. So I'm going to use khaki webbing. And you can see khaki webbing is very contrasting against the dark gray. And it doesn't make the teeth look out of place either. Okay, and then we'll do the top row. And really, that's all the teeth you need to do. You don't need to go crazy on your teeth. Same thing with the guy that's got his mouth closed. You can see the teeth right there. Dragging the brush up his mouth so it'll stay in that channel. And that's it for his teeth. We're not doing anything super crazy. All right. Let me go ahead and clean my brush and then we'll be right back. All right, guys. Now one of the final steps on the Slaads is I'm going to actually paint their bases Luftwaffe uniform. Okay, I've got that queued up right here. And we're going to paint their base mainly so that the base will be uniform, even though it was Luftwaffe uniform, get it? Ha. No, but it'll be like the same color across the base. And I want it to also be a little gray because I want my Slaads to be subterranean, maybe in a cave somewhere. Now you could paint them brown. You know, you could even put grass on your base or whatever. But I don't want to do that. I wanted this rock they're standing on to be gray, but not the same gray that they are, right? I wanted it to be a little bit different. It'll also show off their claws or talons or whatever you want to call those on their feet. Okay, now I'm gonna do both of those, and then when I get done, we'll do a close-up, and you'll take a close look to see what they look like. All right, now let's take a look at these Slaads, and let's take a closer look to them. Okay, you can see where I painted the bases. You can see the mouth, the teeth, the claws. It was primed. It was washed. Yeah, not a whole lot of heavy-duty work going in on these, right? But enough to bring out some details and to make them scary on the table. All right. Well, thanks for coming out and checking out this review of the Nolzur's Slaads and my painting of them. And if you have any comments, put that down in the comments. And if you want to like and subscribe to the channel, please do. We appreciate that. And if you want to help donate to the channel, maybe see more videos like this, or if you just have some questions, post it. All right, and I'll catch you next time.